My name is Purnima Suryavanshi and I'm from Mumbai. And today I'm here with you on a session on digital safety and security. I assure you this session is going to be equally interesting, like the ones that you all have been enjoying since morning. All right, let me just go ahead and share my screen first. Okay. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so why do you need to understand digital security? Isn't that the basic that everyone knows? Yes, it is basic, but the popular or the wider assumption is cybersecurity is much more, to do with the IT department, especially when you're working with a news organization. But it is not, it's much more than that. And safety begins with you. So it's never too late, or, it would not go a waste if you brush up your skills of being safe on the internet while using your accounts and also while accessing your mobile. This is what we're going to discuss today. We'll be taking questions after the session. So why journalists need to be digitally safe? Because they deal with sensitive topics, right? We all do. They have to give out their email addresses to several people, even their social media handles. And moreover, they could be vulnerable to, targeted attacks, especially during elections. I'm sure the troll army is there, to take over, or any post or any opinion that has been shared on your social media handles and otherwise also. So what do you do when you are, especially in an atmosphere where election is happening? You need to be extra careful. Here's an example of Mr. Nitin J. Malik. He's a senior journalist with Network 18. And so according to his post here, that he got a random SMS asking him to update his SIM card. He happened to take this seriously and followed the link the SMS carried, only to find out that it was a scam. He was asked to download TeamViewer app, which allowed scamsters to access his phone and the data. He's alerted his followers on social media about it. You can see a screen grab of his Facebook post. Especially, like I said, when there's an atmosphere of election, hackers or fraudsters are definitely on the lookout, and hence digital safety is of utmost important. And we are going to I'm going to help you be a pro at it in this session. So let's begin with understanding why and the ways and the need to protecting your accounts and browsing the web safely. So to protect your accounts, as well as to protect your accounts, we all know passwords or two-step verification, screen locks, and in case you lose your mobile phone, finding your device, this facility, these are the best practices applicable across all accounts. But the first and the most important line of defense is the use of a password. Usually a password is underestimated by most of us because we don't want to get into the complexity of remembering a difficult or a strong password. So we often make the mistake of using the password that are easy to guess, for example, our loved ones or our birth dates or our pet names and all the what have you. But a good password needs to be as hard as it can be to guess. They should be long, contain uppercase and lowercase characters, numbers, and symbols. But a common mistake that people usually make is using the same password for all login. And if one account is compromised, the rest follow. So the need to have a strong and efficient password is one of the most simplest and the most useful aspect to work on security on the internet. And yet even today, we see passwords like this. Here in this video, we're going to have a look at this video where the team of Jimmy Kimmel, the famous TV talk show host in the US, went around asking people to reveal their passwords, and let's see what did they find out. Sorry.
Purnima, would you want me to play the video?
Can you please?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. I'll do that.
Okay, yeah, I've got it.
We've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony. Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety and privacy of their information than ever. President Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. The most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on the Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon,
And what's his name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where did you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School
Oh, when did you graduate?
in 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. And you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1.
Like my birthday,
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th,
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie 6/12/95. Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland 1 2 3 4. Gemma 1 2 3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
my grandma's name,
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they learned a lesson. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. Did you know there are things other than pornography on the internet? Watch them on the
Okay,
Jimmy Kimmel Live
just give me a
YouTube
minute.
channel, which, much like your own body, I encourage you to explore.
I will have to turn this off, otherwise it will keep interrupting. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Okay, sorry again. So what was the moral of the story? The moral of the story was, if it is easy to guess, it should definitely not be your password. Next up, we have here on your screen the most commonly used passwords even today. So we have right from 1 2 3 4 5 6 to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and it goes right up to I love you. And believe me, these are the most commonly used passwords even today worldwide. So in case any of you have these passwords or something similar to it, right after the session, please go ahead and change the password. And what kind of a password can you make? I'm going to tell you in a short time. So the need to have a strong and efficient password is one of the simplest and the most useful aspect, like I said, on the internet. A strong password will contain uppercase and lowercase, numbers and symbols. Many people don't create strong passwords, like I said, because they find it difficult to remember, right? We've all been through that phase. Well, I used to be one of them, but here's a solution: a passphrase. You can now create a passphrase, which is the new trend these days. So what is a passphrase? So to create a passphrase, for example, on your screen, think of a sentence that's easy to remember. For example, as you can see on the screen, this lady says, I have 2 dogs, 1 cat, and 3 birds. All right, what do we do next? Then we take the first letter of each word in the sentence. Where possible, replace words with symbols. And the result is, the example is what you see on your screen. Her password becomes IH number 2, D number 1, C, the symbol and, 3, B. Only she knows what this means, but this serves the purpose. Now, this password naturally contains upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Most importantly, it's easy to remember. All you have to do is use a passphrase or a phrase to reconstruct it. Here's a tip. Just write a super long sentence that you might want to remember, or maybe you can use your favorite words from a poem or lyrics of a song. Easy, right? Easy peasy. You may ask why the need of an eight character password. Why is the need to that? So let me tell you, an 8-character password consisting of numbers, symbols, and uppercase, lowercase letters is more difficult to decipher because it has more than 30,000 possible combinations than the one that only consists of lowercase letters. In this way, we achieve a password that meets all the requirements of a strong password, and at the same time, we help the memory to remember it. All right, moving on, easy. But like we discussed, the common mistakes that we make here is, people want to use the same password for all their accounts. People know actually how to create a strong and complex password, but like I mentioned, they end up using the same password for all their accounts. So the password must not just be strong, but they need to be unique also. That means we have to create a different password for each online account that we use. In other words, do not recycle the passwords, but use a different one for your email or for social network, bank accounts. It's always safe to do that. Otherwise, like I said, if one account is compromised or one account is hacked, the others will follow as well. To make it easy to remember all your passwords, you can use a method we just learned and create a passphrase with easy to remember sentence. This will really make your life easy. All right, the other option here is to use a password manager. So what's a password manager? A password manager not only helps you remember all your passwords, they also generate strong passwords by generating random strings of lowercase and uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols required to protect your online accounts from hackers. But here's a tip. Please use a reputed password manager. What is a reputed and a good password manager? That password manager will have passwords that are encrypted, and there's a provision of 2-step verification. Well, to give you an example, the Google Chrome browser passwords are encrypted, and by default, they're encrypted by default. And to view them, viewers must be logged into their Google account and additionally authenticate themselves to their device. So this also serves the purpose. Another way to secure your account is 2-step verification, which I'm sure most of us delay because it is a little taxing. When you forget your password, you need your phone with you, you need to know, you need to have time with you. But trust me, it's very necessary to have a second layer over your account, and that's 2-step verification. So I'm sure many of you all actually are using 2-step verification, but if you don't, now here are some good reasons why you should secure your account with 2-step verification in case you all don't have immediately after the training. So you can see the link on your screen, that's g.co/2sb. If you click on that, this will take you to your account and you can go ahead and secure your account with a 2-step verification. Now, what does a 2-step verification do? It provides a second layer protection for your online account. This way, if a hacker managed to steal your password, he wouldn't be able to access your account without your phone. All right, moving on. Another tool I want to share with you today is called the Android Protection Program. Advanced Protection Program. So this program is for anyone who is at risk of targeted attacks, including journalists. For those interested in the app, let me tell you what the app entails. The app goes further than the traditional 2-step verification, requiring you to use actually physical security keys in addition to your password to sign into your Google account. To enroll for this, you need to purchase not one, but 2 security keys, 1 wireless enabled key to act as your main key, and 1 backup key. After you enroll, other authentication factors like codes sent via SMS or Google Authenticator app will no longer work. If ever you lose access to your account and both of your security keys, there will be an addition. You'll have to verify it a little further than the usual that you would do to gain access to your account, which means that it will take a few days to get access to your account. But trust me, It's up to you to evaluate your level of risk of targeted attacks and decide whether you want to use two-step verification or this app. Next, what we have here is to implement a lot of these practices that we've talked about. You can just go to your Google account by typing myaccount.google.com on your browser from any device. Here you can change your password and enable the two-step verification. You can do a security checkup for your account. And a lot of these practices are applicable to other accounts and services that you use, like your social media accounts. So we encourage you to check and adjust the security settings for all online services that you use. Try to often visit myaccount.google.com. Google will keep prompting you any critical situation that your account might be, or any other account that's linked to your primary account is at risk of being compromised. Google will highlight in case you visit myaccount.google.com. It's a good practice to do that. So don't we all now get this message which pops up at odd hours, like when you are about to fall asleep or while you are using your phone extensively for some work? Yes, I'm talking about that message which says software update. Yeah, I know we tend to delay it because it takes a few minutes to update, but here's the thing, do it right away if possible. It's important to always use up-to-date softwares to protect your accounts, from security vulnerabilities, whether that's your internet browser, operating system plugins, or document editors. Security vulnerabilities are prone to hackers. Please mind this. When you receive a trusted notification that a software update is available, install it as soon as possible. You should periodically also review the software you run on your desktop or mobile handset to make sure you're running the latest version available. Some services, including Google Chrome browser, will automatically keep themselves up to date. But to make sure you're running the latest version of your mobile apps, visit the settings in your app store and enable auto updates. Set an auto update on as a primary recommendation, and it will do the work for you. Next, what we're going to look at is something that, again, we usually take it for granted. Up until now, we've talked about how to secure accounts and therefore our personal information. But these tips don't apply only to computers and laptops. They also apply to mobile devices like smartphones and tablets. Today, we can't imagine doing our jobs, right? Even living our lives without mobile devices. As a newsmaker, regardless of whatever your role is in the newsmaking organization that you belong to, think about how critical your smartphone is to your job. Let's reflect together. Hear me out. Where do you check most of your work emails? On your phone or your computer? What device do you use to send most of your work emails? Or when was the last time you sent some critical piece of information using your phone, maybe by email or private messaging app? Or what could happen if someone had intercepted that communication? Now, the reason I'm asking you all these questions is because on mobile device, we use apps to access services like email, social networks, and private messaging apps without having to log in every single time. That means that our information is one tap away. So it's important to take steps to protect these devices and to secure your information. Now, the best way to do this is to set up screen lock, whether it's a numeric, PIN, or a password, or pattern, or fingerprint. Well, it's important to choose a strong screen lock. Now, what does a strong screen lock mean? I mean, can screen locks need to be that strong? Well, yes. If you're using a PIN, let me tell you, avoid using personal information like your birth date or something like that. And coming to a strong pattern, what would you do? You would avoid using common geometric figures like a triangle or a rectangle, or the first letter of your name, or any letter for that matter. I'll give you a tip here for a strong pattern. People who use pattern usually tend to use corners as a first point. About a half of all patterns have starting point in the upper left corner. The strongest patterns are those that do not start in any of the four corners. So try and be creative and again create a strong screen lock. Next, Something that often has happened to many of us. What if we misplace our mobile device, or what if it gets stolen? So one of the most, so on most mobile devices, you can add owner information, including your name and emergency phone number. This way, if someone is kind enough, if they are kind enough, they will find your device and they can return to you. Visit the settings app on your phone to see if this option is available for your device. So what do you do if you misplace the phone? Is there any other option? So here's an option. If you misplace your device, you can make it ring. So if you lose your phone and you have a Google account on it, you can take action by going to android.com/find from any internet connected device. You can find your mobile, meaning you will see where your phone is on the map. For example, you can see it, you left it in office. Or you can make it ring at maximum volume, even if it's set to silent. For example, if you can't find your phone and it was set to silent, calling your phone won't work, right? But if you can make it ring, from android.com/find, and hopefully you'll discover it's usually below your couch. Well, you can also lock your device, even leaving a note in case someone finds it. Ultimately, if nothing works, you have an option to erase all your content on your cell phone, including your photos and downloaded files. If your device is offline, erasing will begin when it comes online next. If you don't remember this URL, android.com/find, what you got to do is simply go to Google and type "find my phone," and the same process will follow. Well, you need to be logged in, by the way, to Chrome browser for this to work. So if you've lost a device again, you can also try Android Device Manager to find its approximate location on a map and when it was last used. When Android Device Manager locates your device, that device will get a notification. When Android Device Manager interacts with your device, it will get a notification. You can also use Android Device Manager to show your device's location. All right. Let's discuss about browsing safely on the internet. So many people, even internationally and even in our country, have fallen prey to unsafe browsing on the internet, email frauds and scams. So let's have a look and start with basic. Let's understand the open network and the secure network. Now, what should be considered? Well, let's understand an insecure network. It most often refers to a free Wi-Fi, a wireless network like at coffee shops or retail stores or airports and other public places. It means there's no special login or screening process to get on the network, which means you and anyone else can use it. Now, what does that mean to you? Is that there's no guarantee of security while you're using that network. Unsecure means not secure, obviously. So if a hacker were nearby and felt like doing some dirty deeds online on that unsecure network, there's very little that anyone can stop him. So one can do basic internet browsing, such as using such network, but sending confidential emails or banking transaction or anything that needs you to feed a password or username on open network must be avoided at all costs. We've all used free Wi-Fi, right? In fact, we appreciate the fact that we can go to a mall or airport and with just a few clicks on the establishment's Wi-Fi network link, we can get connected to internet, just like the mall, for example. Wi-Fi is open to anyone as courtesy. You might want to ask, don't some hotspots make you sign in? Yes, definitely many hotspots at coffee shops and airports will present a terms and condition page to click on before you access the network, but that's almost nothing more than a welcome page. It doesn't mean that you're being approved to join a hacker-proof network. I'm sure you also would have a question in mind, are all Wi-Fi unsecure? Well, certainly not the ones that we use at home. Most people who set up wireless networks at home use security features built in their routers to make their network secure. This security comes in two forms. First, there are a few security choices you can make to help encrypt your data. If a hacker intercepted your data over the internet somehow, it wouldn't be of any use to him. And second, the router's software allows you to set up password to access your network, and typically only family and others in your household with whom you want to share your password, you can do it. So the hitch is, should you use free wireless network or not? So here's the thing. It's a good idea to increase your awareness about internet security and dangers. However, you can still take advantage of free Wi-Fi with only minimal risk. Keep this in mind. Your behavior and activity on the internet does affect your risk level. Think of it like this. Some people would never live in or even travel to the Big Apple, that's New York or Tokyo or Hong Kong, with their big city dangers. Yet millions live there, travel there, and vacation there daily. The key here is knowing how to stay safe in areas that present the possibility of a higher danger level. Same with internet, it's all about being smart online. In order to protect your security, for your handset when connected to an open network, here are a few reminders. Do not log into services that would want you to enter your username and password to your social media accounts or emails. Do not shop online. In other words, do not enter your credit card or other payment details. Otherwise, this valuable information like your passwords or credit card numbers, etc., could be intercepted. We have these days many apps being launched day in and day out, but we recommend download apps from trusted sources only. That's iTunes for Apple devices, Google Play for Android devices, or official app stores of the device maker. Here are some quick tips to have a safe downloading of the apps. When you're downloading, you may be in a hurry to install, which usually is the case, and start using it, but it's worth to take an extra minute to check a couple of things like read user reviews. What do other users who've already installed and used the app think about it? Or check the app permission. What is this app requesting access to? Or more importantly, why does it need those permissions? You can go to your settings of the app and change permission at any time. Nowadays, you'll also get an option where it says use so-and-so give permission only when using that app and not otherwise. So you need to go to your settings of the on the app and check the permissions if you want to make any change or modify notification. Now we have the big thing that's called the phishing. Scams and phishing. I'm sure many of you have received those emails claiming you have won a prize or lottery, etc., right? But this is where we learn to spot the red flag that lets us know that something may be suspicious, misleading, or just a scam. So let's start by defining what phishing is. A phishing attack is where someone tricks you into providing personal information like your username and password. Phishing can happen by email, ads, or websites that look similar to the services that you've already used. Here we have actor Karan Singh Grover, husband of Bipasha Basu, who had fallen prey to a phishing scam where he was duped for 1.6 lakhs rupees. He had to pay this processing fee to claim some prize money. He modestly came forward and alerted the police as well and his followers on social media, urging them to be careful. As well as he said, it's nothing to be ashamed if you fall for such scams. It's just that you need to take necessary precautions that follow after you have been scammed. Also here we have the famous case of NDTV's Nidhi Rajdan, who got an email saying she has been selected in Harvard as a professor, and she came forward in January 2021 and said that she had fallen for a major phishing scam. So the first thing you want to do when you visit a website is check the URL to make sure you're where you were intended to be. Hackers oftentimes create websites that look similar to the websites that you are familiar with. Take a look at this example on your screen. Do you see any red flags? Let me tell you. The URL lets us know that this is a phishing website. This isn't google.com. Hackers create URLs or web addresses that resemble services that you are familiar with. So as you can see on your screen, www.google.com/login-redirect.com is not the login page of Google. You might want to just go onto your browser and look for the actual login. The best way to prevent this is to open a new tab on your browser and type in the web address of the website you want to visit. Now, this is a typical sample of how a phishing mail looks like. So there's a generic greeting, and then there is something that is too good to be true. And then they lead you to some other email, which is definitely nothing but it's to scam you. So you would want to avoid such mails. Another way to browse safely is to, as you can, winding up on phishing, you can see you need not feed in details that are there on your screen on websites that you're not sure about. You might want to be vigilant at all times. Another way to browse safely is to check that the URL starts with HTTPS rather than HTTP. Again, something very basic, but let's understand that the S in HTTPS stands for secure. This means that the information is transmitted securely. Make sure that the website starts with HTTPS before logging into your username and password, before entering your credit card details, or before entering any private information for that matter. But again, here's a catch. Even if a website starts with HTTPS, make sure that the web address is correct. Here on your screen is an example of this bank called Bank First. The URL is https://www.bankfirst.com. But do you notice the scam here? Well, some scamsters using the same URL by just making non-recognizable error, they have created a fake URL even though it starts with HTTPS. So it's very important to make note of this and verify your URL before use. Next, let's look at something that we all are quite habituated by now. Yes, I'm talking about online shopping and how it can be made safe and secure as well. Daily, we have some or the other online shopping website or app being launched. But meanwhile, you need to know that many browsers like Chrome, Firefox, or Safari will display browser warnings when you attempt to visit potentially malicious or deceptive websites. These are called browser warnings, and they are hard to miss. Think twice before visiting these websites. Your machine could become infected with a malware, or it could be a phishing website. Do not ignore the warning signs that flash on your screen, as you can see, flash on your screen of your device. Also, that you can see on this screen. For example, a warning that says the website ahead contains malware. What does it mean? The website you're trying to visit might try to install malware on your computer device. Some other warnings would be like danger, malware ahead, which means the web page you're trying to visit might have malware. Or it could also be deceptive site ahead, meaning this site you're trying to visit is suspected of being a phishing website. Or the warning could be the site ahead contains harmful programs. That means the site you're trying to visit might try to trick you into installing programs that harm your browsing experience. Because newsmakers receive so many emails and have to do so much with research online, we strongly encourage you to take this phishing quiz after this session. It will show you many examples of phishing emails and how to spot it. This is something you can share with your colleagues to help them spot phishing attacks and keep your organization safer. It is g.co/phishing quiz. So do visit this whenever you have time. Here are some other resources as well. On the Google News Lab website inside the training center, you can take thematic courses, you can take single tool lessons, or even learn from partner advanced content, more at g.co/newslab. Inside this training center, you can learn the best ways to use Google tools for reporting or storytelling. So we highly recommend, do visit this and choose the course you would like to pursue. Coming lastly to something that is very, very important to understand, and that is the DDoS attacks. You can now prevent your websites from the infamous DDoS attacks. Now, what is a DDoS attacks? If you don't know, it's a distributed denial of service. It's an attack that maliciously attempts to disrupt normal traffic to your web property, and it usually happens during election times. Here comes an easy shield that's called the Project Shield. It comes handy. This Project Shield is a free service that uses Google technology to help keep news and election sites protected. You can apply right now. There's a 5 to 10 minute application process on g.co/shield. Once approved, you and you get connected to Project Shield team that will help you set up or discuss a trial plan if needed. The setup process is easy. It takes about only 10 minutes to point your DNS traffic to the Shield. Now, Project Shield does not share any user data. It only keeps metadata to help improve the DDoS defenses for 14 days. It does not do anything else with it. DDoS attacks are constantly evolving, so it's very important for us to be able to learn from the attack data. And so I wish you happy browsing, happy safe browsing on the internet, and also I'm sure you all are now election ready after this amazing session since morning, and I am done here. If any questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, Purnima. We'll just take up a few questions that we've got. Okay, the first question is, how useful is a password manager, and do you think we should use one?
Yes, like I said, password managers are very useful. It's actually up to you whether you would want to or opt for it, or you're okay with the basic security measures that are there. But like I said, you need to always have a good password manager, and you can read about it. It's always the information is available on the internet, but we recommend to go for a reputed password manager. And as you, the person who has asked this, I'm sure he might be at the risk of targeted attacks. So since you've thought about it, I would suggest please go ahead and have a password manager.